Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I welcome you all in our today's maths class. Today we are going to learn about New Countdown Book 5. This is our Unit 1 and it is our very first lesson. Hope you all are good and enjoying good health. Today we will learn about the numbers and arithmetic operations. As all of you knows about the numbers that 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on, these are called the numbers, and arithmetic operations are the basic operations which we use in maths, and these are addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. So first we will learn about the numbers and then we will learn how to apply these arithmetic operations on numbers. So here before starting the lesson, I want to ask some questions from you. In class 4 you have read about the place value. So please very quickly tell me about the place value of these underlined digits. Here in first question you can see that 5 is underlined here. So you must tell me about the place value of this 5. Very well done. It is at 100,000 place, so its place value is 500,000. In second question you can see that 7 is underlined. So yes, very quickly please tell me its place value. Yes, it is 70,000. And in third question, this 5 is underlined and its place value is 5 millions. As you all know that there are two ways of writing a number. We can write a number in Pakistani place value system and we can also write a number in international place value system. So today we will learn about 10-digit numbers, that how we can write a 10-digit number in international way. So you must know that 1 billion is the smallest 10-digit number. The greatest 9-digit number is 99,999,999. When we will add 1 in it, we will get 1 million. So 1 billion is the smallest 10-digit number in international place value system. You must remember one more thing, that earlier commas have been used to differentiate the groups. Now in international place value chart, commas are replaced by spaces. So for differentiating the groups, we are now going to use the spaces. So let us learn how we can read a number. So for reading this number, first of all you should look at it that it is a 10-digit number. So we will make its place value table, and here you can see its place value table. Its place value table is still billions, and you can see that every group in international way is having 3 digits. So when we want to read this number, we will start reading it from this 4. As 4 is in billions group, we will read it as 4 billions. Then 526 is in millions group, so we will read it as 526 million. 918 is in thousands group, so we will read it as 918,290. So overall we will read it as 4,526,918,290. 918,290. Let us practice another number. For writing it, for reading it, again we will make a place value table, put the number in table, and now we can read it as 5,982,486,873. So hope you all are now able to read the number, the 10-digit number in international way. Here is your home task. You have to do exercise 1A, page number is 3 and 4. Question number 4. It is write the following numbers in words. So just write these numbers in words. And then question number 6 is write the numbers in figures, international place value, giving the spaces correctly. So you can see that the numbers are already in figures but the spaces are not there. So you must put the spaces according to international way. And we know that in international way every group or period is having 3 digits. And then you will also write their names. That is how we can read these numbers. You will write it in your notebooks. Thank you for listening. Thank you for attending today's class. Hope you all are fine and enjoying good health. May Allah bless you. Have a very blessed day ahead. Thank you. Till the next class. So in addition of bigger numbers, we must know this, that addition of bigger number is as easy as we have done about the 4 digits or 6 digit numbers. But for adding the bigger numbers, we have to be careful to write columns. So it is very necessary that how you are writing it in columns, and starts to work from the ones column, that is from right side. When we finish adding, we must also remember to put in periods correctly. So you must put the numbers in periods. First, for putting the numbers in periods, we were using commas, but now we are using spaces. So examples are here that how we can add two bigger numbers. You can see that both the numbers are 6-digit numbers. It is 3,564,121. So for adding these two numbers, we will write them vertically first, and for writing them vertically, you must know that we should keep in our mind how to keep the columns, how to write the numbers correctly in columns. I have made the place value table here, but it is not necessary to make the place value table. So for adding it, we will start adding it from ones column. First we will do the addition of 5 and 1. So 5 plus 1 is 6. Similarly, we will add the number in tens column, then in hundreds column, and so on. So you can see that this will be your answer. So for addition, you should only keep two things in your minds. First, writing the numbers vertically carefully, and the other one is that you should start doing the addition from ones column. Here is another example. Now you can see that we are having three numbers here. 465, 2, this is the second number, and then the third number is there. So for adding three numbers, you can see that I have changed their order. I have first written this second number because it was the largest number. Then I have written the third number because it is next, and then the smallest one. So you can see from here that if we are adding the numbers, we can even change their order. We can write the numbers according to our own order. But when you are doing the subtraction, you must keep this in your mind that we cannot change the order of numbers. Now for adding it, again we will start doing the addition from ones column. So first of all, we will add these three numbers. 5 plus 2 is 7, plus 1 is 8. So 8 will be there. Similarly, we will write these numbers. When you will add these, you must know this, that 9 plus 2 is 11, and 11 plus 6 is 17. So you must know this, that when you are adding the numbers, you will start writing it from ones, and then you will write it accordingly. You can see the answer here on screen. Here is another question for your practice. So very quickly take your notebooks and quickly start doing it in your notebooks. First, write these three numbers vertically. I am writing it here. And this time you can see that in writing the numbers vertically, I didn't change their order. I have written the numbers as it is, the order in which the numbers were given. I have written the numbers in the similar order. And now we will start doing the addition from ones column. So from ones column, when we will start doing the addition, you can see that your answer will be, hope you will also have the same answer as mine. If not, then please check it once again, that what is the mistake which you are doing in it. Now here is another question for your practice. Yes, very quickly write it down in your notebooks and start doing the addition. First, write it vertically. I have written the first number, then the second number, and then the third number. Now I will start doing the addition from ones column. And you can see my answer here. Hope you all are having the same answer. So in this way you can do the addition sums. The only thing which you should keep in your minds is that you should start doing the addition from ones column. Now you must know this as well, that if a question is that find a number which is more than. So for more than, you means that greater one. So if we want to calculate the more than, we will add. If the question is write a number which is 5,000 more than 20,045,624, what we are going to do is that we will add these two numbers to find that required number. You can see the solution here. I have written first number and then I have added 5,000 in it to calculate a number which is 5,000 more than this number. So it means that the number 20,050,624 is a number which is 5,000 more than the given number. So you must keep this in your mind. Whenever in a question you have to find a number which is more than the given number, you must do the addition there. So I hope that after this lesson you will be able to do the addition of bigger number. Today we have learned about the addition of bigger numbers. In our now let's go to your homework, that what is your home task for today. Today your homework is about exercise 1B, question number 5 and question number 6. And the parts are also mentioned here, that which parts you are going to do. The first question is write vertically and solve. You will write these numbers vertically and add. And question number 6 is write the number which is 800 more than 12,695,382. So as I have told you, for calculation of more than, you have to add these two numbers and calculate the answer. So I hope that you are now able to solve, to do this home task. And I hope that you have enjoyed today's lesson. Today we have learned about addition of bigger numbers. In our next class, we will learn about the subtraction of bigger numbers. So thank you for listening me. Thank you for attending today's class. Hope to see you in our next class. Till then, goodbye and Allah Hafiz. So thank you for listening me. Thank you for attending today's class. Hope to see you in our next class. Till then, goodbye and Allah Hafiz. Today we will learn about addition and subtraction word problems, and it is our unit 1 exercise 1B, and we will specifically discuss question number 8 and 11 today, and these are about the addition and subtraction word problems. So let's start doing it. You can see here in question number 8, the question is solve these sums using international system. Here first A part is find the difference between the greatest 8-digit number and greatest 5-digit number. So we are going to calculate the difference. For calculation of difference, as I have told you earlier, that whenever we want to calculate the difference, we should use the subtraction. We use subtraction as our operation to calculate the difference between two numbers. So we are going to calculate the difference between greatest 8-digit number and greatest 5-digit number. So first of all, we will write that what is the greatest 8-digit number, and then we will write that what is the greatest 5-digit number. So first of all, the greatest 8-digit number. I have told you this earlier, that for calculation of greatest 8-digit number, if we want to calculate the greatest number, that must be like 8-digit number is there, so we will write 99999, means 8 times 9 will be there, and the greatest 5-digit number will be 99,999. You can see this here. So you must know this, that for writing the greatest 8-digit number or 5-digit number, you will write that times 9. And now we want to calculate the difference, so we have to do the subtraction here. And for subtraction, you must know that we will start subtracting it from the ones column, and 9 minus 9 will be 0. Similarly, 9 minus 9 will be 0 again, and so on. So you can see this, that your answer will be 99,900,000. So this is your required difference. So let's solve its part B. Its B part is, from the smallest 8-digit number, subtract the greatest 6-digit number. So here the smallest 8-digit number. So first of all, you will write the smallest 8-digit number. And for writing the smallest 8-digit number, you must know this, that you will simply write 1 and then 7 zeros will be there. And you must know that the smallest 8-digit number is 10 millions. And we want to subtract the greatest 6-digit number from it. So greatest 6-digit number will be 999,999, and we want to subtract it, so we will calculate its difference. Now 0 minus 9 is not possible. We have to take borrow from its neighbor, but its neighbor is also 0. It is not having anything, so we have to go to the next neighbor, the next, and so on. We will come to this 1. From this 1 we will take 1 borrow, and you can see that your answer will be 9,000,001. So in this way you will calculate the difference between these two numbers. Now let's go to our next question. Question number 11 is, study the table carefully, then answer the given questions below. Here there is a table, and it is about the population of major cities of Pakistan according to the 2017 census. You can see here the population of Karachi, Lahore, Faisalabad, Rawalpindi, Peshawar and Quetta. So we are going to answer the question related to this table. Part A is, how many more people live in Karachi than Rawalpindi? So here we are going to find the difference again, that what is the difference between the population of Karachi and Rawalpindi. So we will first write the population of Karachi, then we will write the population of Rawalpindi, and now we want to calculate it, that how many more people live in Karachi than in Rawalpindi. So we will calculate the difference between the population of these two cities, and for that you will do the subtraction. When we will subtract, you will get this as your answer. So you must know this, that for subtraction, if we want to calculate it, if we want to calculate the difference between the population of two cities, we have to do the subtraction here. Coming towards our B part. Now coming towards its B part is, after Faisalabad, which city has the most number of people? How many people altogether live in this city and Faisalabad? So first of all, we are going to find it out, that after Faisalabad, which city has the most number of people? You can see here in this table that the population of Faisalabad is 3,203,846, and population of Rawalpindi is 2,098,231. All other cities, so exactly after Faisalabad, the most number of people live in Rawalpindi. So we are going to solve this question now. First of all, you will write it down that after Faisalabad, Rawalpindi has the most people, and now we will write the population of Faisalabad. Then we will write the population of Rawalpindi, and now we want to find out how many people altogether. So for calculation of total number of people living in Faisalabad and Rawalpindi, we will do the addition here. So very quickly add these two numbers. to find it out that how many people altogether live in these two cities. Yes, be very quick. I hope you have done it. So you can see the answer here. I hope that all of you are having the same answer. So today our lesson was about the addition and subtraction word problems, and I have told you how to solve the word problems related addition and subtraction. Now hope you all are able to solve the addition and subtraction word problems. So coming towards your homework, your home task is that you will do page 8, exercise 1B, question number 11, part C, D and E in your notebooks. You can see that in part C it is what is the total population of Lahore and Rawalpindi. So for calculation of total population I have told you that what you should do. Then part D is which city has the least number of people. What is the difference in the population between this city and Faisalabad? So here we want to find that least number of people. So you have to look at the table again and find it out that which city has least number of people, and then you are going to calculate the difference in population between that city and Faisalabad. And similarly you will do its part E, that if the population of Peshawar is added to that of Quetta, how many people are there altogether? So again we are going to calculate the population of Peshawar and Quetta. So I hope that you are now able to do this home task. And as all of you know that how you are going to do your homework, but still here a quick reminder is for you. You have to write down your homework here, then you will write the date, the day, unit number. On the next line you will write exercise number, and then you will start doing your work. So in this way you will do your homework. I hope that you have enjoyed today's lesson. Till our next class, I want you to be in home. You must stay home so that you can be safe. Till our next class, Allah Hafiz and goodbye. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I welcome you all in our today's class. Today we are going to learn about our new countdown book 5. It is our unit 1 lesson 6, and we are going to learn about multiplication. And in multiplication we will first learn about multiplying a number by 10, 100 and 1000. That when we will multiply a number by 10, 100 and 1000, what will happen to that, or how we can find our answer quickly. So you must know this, children, that when we multiply a number by 10, we move that number one column to the left and fill the blank with 1 0. Example is given to you. You can see that it is 189,857. When we will multiply it by 10, it will move one column to the right. You can see that it moves one column to the right, and now it comes to the millions column. And what we have done with the left blank column, that we have filled it with 0. So you must know this, that whenever we multiply a number by 10, we simply put a 0 with it. So this is the way by which we can multiply a number by 10. The same we will do when we will multiply a number by 100. Now as 100 has 2 zeros, so we will move that number 2 columns to the left and fill in 2 zeros. The example is given to you. You can see that we have written the same answer, the same number first, and then we have just put 2 zeros with it. So in this way you can find your answer directly if we want to multiply a number by 100. And when we want to multiply by 1000, the same rule will be applicable here. But in 1000 there are 3 zeros, so we are going to put 3 zeros at the end of that number to get our answer. You must remember this, that to multiply a number with power of 10, place zeros on the right and move the number towards the left. Here I want to discuss some facts with you, that when a number is multiplied by 1, the result remains the same. Now it is exercise 1C. We are going to fill in these blanks. You can see this, that 720,856 multiplied by dash is equals to this. So here you can see that with this number 3 zeros has been added at the end. So it tells us that we must fill the blank with 1000. Here you can see that the number is not given to us, but it is multiplied by 100 and then the answer is given to us. So 100 has 2 zeros. We can see that 2 zeros are here as well. It means that this number is our answer. When we want to multiply 45,200 with 20, what we are going to do is that we will simply multiply this with 2 and add 1 zero with it. And similarly, you can see that in last part, if 152,695 is divided by 10, the remainder is dash. You must know that your last digit will become the remainder. So the last digit, the number in one's column here is 5. So 5 will become the remainder. Now let us practice question number 4. Multiply the following numbers by 10. You must know, dear students, that when we will multiply a number by 10, what will happen? Yes, you are right. We will add a 0 with it. So this is our answer. A very simple and very easy and quick way to get your answers. Okay, so now let's go to our next question number 5. Multiply the following numbers by 100. In 100 you can see 2 zeros are there, so we must put 2 zeros with our answers. Now this question number 6 is actually your homework. You are going to multiply the following numbers by 1000. You must keep this in your mind that in 1000 3 zeros are there. So we must add 3 zeros with the same number to get our answer. So this was all about today's topic, that how we can multiply a number by 10, 100 and 1000. Hope you all have understand this and hope you all will be able to do your home task. Be happy, stay home, stay safe. Thank you. Till your next class. Goodbye. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, hope you all are fine, enjoying good health. I welcome you all in our today's maths class. Today we are going to learn about our new countdown book 5, unit 1, lesson number 6, and it is our exercise 1C. Our today's topic is multiplication of numbers up to 6 digits. So first we will multiply a 6-digit number by 2-digit number. You must remember this, that to multiply large numbers we need to know how to stack them in columns. That is how to write the question vertically. Example is here. If we want to multiply these two numbers, what we are going to do is that first we will write the multiplicand, then the multiplier, and then we will start multiplying it from this 3, the number in ones column. And we will multiply all these 6 digits by 3 first. Then we will multiply all the 6 digits by 2, and at the end, to get the product, we will add these and find our answer. You must speak after me. Multiplicand, a number which is to be multiplied by another number. Speak after me, students. Multiplicand. Multiplier, it is a number by which a given number is to be multiplied. It is multiplier. And the product is the end result of multiplication. So when we will finish our multiplication question, our answer is known as product. Here is another example. Multiply 610,234 by 12. You can see we will write it vertically. Then start multiplying from by 2. Then we will multiply all the 6 digits by 1, and because 1 is in tens column, so actually we are multiplying all the 6 digits by 10. And when we multiply a number by 10, we must add a 0 at the right hand side of the number. So you must place a 0 here in this blank space. Here in this blank space, we must fill this blank by a 0. Now we will do the addition to get our product. So now if we want to multiply a 6-digit number by 3-digit number, the same steps we will follow again. First, we will write the numbers vertically. We can multiply it starting from this, working from 4. We will first multiply all the 6 digits by 4, then all the 6 digits by 50, and then all the 6 digits by 200. And after that, to find the product, we will add and get our answer. Similarly, you can solve any multiplication question. Hope you all are now able to multiply a 6-digit number by 2 digits and by 3 digits multipliers. Here is another question. Repeating the same steps, we can do the multiplication of a question, and at the end we will add to get the product. So now students, I hope that you are all are able to multiply. So your homework for today is, you will do question number 10 parts A and D and question number 11 parts A, C and F of exercise 1C on page 15. It was all about our today's lesson. Hope you all are fine and enjoying at home with your families and safe and sound. Thank you. Till your next class. Allah Hafiz. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I welcome you all in our today's maths class. Today we are going to learn about our new countdown book 5, unit 1, and it is our lesson number 9, and exercise is 1C. Today I am going to tell you about division of numbers up to 6 digits by 2 and 3 digit numbers. Later you have done about the division of numbers by 2 and 3 digit numbers, but the numbers was, I think, the 5-digit or the 4-digit numbers. So today we will learn about the division of 6-digit numbers. You must know that the procedure of division is same, but let's recall it. If we want to divide 432,561 by 24, we will first of all start doing from looking at our divisor. You must know this, that 24 is our divisor here and it has 2 digits. So we will take 2 digits from the dividend and those 2 digits makes 43. Now 43 is greater than 24. It means that we can start doing our question right now, and you will find the number in table of 24 which is smaller than 43. So simply multiply 24 with 2 in your rough notebooks. Very well done. You get 48 as your answer. So you can see that 24 ones are is 24 and 24 twos are is 48. So we are not going to take 48. Instead we will take 24 ones are 24. After that we will do the subtraction, and when you will subtract it, you will get 19 as your answer. And after that the next step is bringing down. So we can only bring down one digit in one step. We will bring down this 2 here. So we get 192. Now we are going to find that in table of 24 where 192 comes, or a number which is smaller than 192. 192 is a quite big number. So let us check it by some big numbers like 8, 9. So when I have find it, I got this, that 24 8s are is exactly 192. I will simply write it down, then subtract it. You will get 0, and then we will bring down this 5. In one step we can only bring down one digit. In table of 24 I am going to find it out that where the number comes which is smaller than 5. So I know that tables starts from 24 zeros are. So 24 zeros are is 0 and 24 ones are is 24. I will take 24 zeros are 0. When I will subtract, I'll get 5, and now I will bring down this 6. So you can see that we got 56 here, as already we have done that 24 twos are is 48, and which is very nearer to 56. So we will take 24 twos are 48, do subtract it, we will get 8, and now we will bring down this 1. When we will divide it, you will find this, that 24 threes are is 72, and when you will subtract it, you will get 9. Now there isn't something to bring down, so it means that our question has been finished and we are left with 9 as our remainder. So here I just want to tell you this as well, that in this question, this 18,023 is called the quotient or the answer of a division question. This is called dividend. The number which we are dividing, that is called dividend. The number which is left at the end, that is called remainder. And the number by which we have divided the given number is called the divisor. So this is the way of dividing a 6-digit number by a 2-digit divisor. Similarly, we can divide a 6-digit number by 3-digit divisor as well. Here is an example for you. Let us now practice another question, and in this you can see that our divisor is 330. So in divisor 3 digits are there. So we will take 3 digits from dividend and it makes 345. So we will take 330. Ones are 330 because 332s are will be something like 600. So it will be 330. Ones are, we will do the subtraction, and after subtraction we will bring down this 6 here. So it is now 156. So now we should take 330. Zeros are 0 because 330 ones are is 330, and that is greater than 156. So now subtract it, and now we will bring down this 9. We will find it out that in table of 330 where we can find a number which is smaller than 1569. So 334s are is 1320. You will subtract it and get your remainder as 249. Similarly, you can practice another question now. So this is the solution of this question, and you can see that we have simply you can say that we have simply repeated the same steps and get our answer. Here is another question for you. So 31 is our remainder here. 1005 is our quotient. So in this way, students, you can divide any number by the divisor. And now hope you all are able to do the division sums. So let us go to your homework. Your home task is exercise 1C, question number 12, parts B and D, and question number 13, part B and D. Hope you all have enjoyed today's lesson. Tomorrow, inshallah, I'll come back with a new lesson. Till then, take care of yourselves. Allah Hafiz. Assalamu alaikum all. Dear students, I welcome you all in our today's maths class. Today we are going to learn about Unit 1, Exercise 1C, page number 16. It is word problems of multiplication and division. So for solving the word problems of division and multiplication, first I want to give you some important tips related to that. It is that whenever you are solving a word problems, you must read the question carefully and mark the things which are given to us. Then you will see that what is the requirement of the question, that what they want us to do, and then you will apply the correct operation, either addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, or any other operation. So here are, when we are solving the multiplication and division word problems, if you are given about one thing and the required is that find about 5 people or find about 10 people, so we have to use multiplication there. And if we are given about more and the required is that you have to find about one thing, So you should do the division there. And one more thing is there, when we want to find about the number of things, we should also use division to solve. So let us start doing our word problems. Our very first word problem is Jumbo Fancy Store wants to place an order for candles. If one box contains 144 candles, how many boxes must the shop order for a stock of 100,080 candles? So here you can see that we want to find about the number of boxes, that how many boxes are required here. So we must know this. We want to calculate here how many boxes. That means we want to calculate the number of boxes. I have told you that when we want to calculate the number of boxes or the number of something, we should use division as our operation. So here you can see the statements. Box contains candles, those are 144. Now total candles are 1080. Number of boxes required, we will when we want to find the number of something, we should do the division. So when you will divide 100,080 by 144, and you can see here the division, but you must try it by yourself in your notebooks to get the correct answer. Here is just the hint for you that you can solve it in this way, but it would be better if you will first try it by yourself and then you will look at the solution. Now let's come to our second question. The government wants to build new homes for 382 homeless families. If each home cost rupees 400,960, how much will the project cost altogether? Now here, look at the question carefully. We know about each home costs, means we are given with the cost of one home. We know about the cost of one home and we want to calculate about the whole project. So if we want to calculate about the whole project, we are given with the each home cost, means we know about the cost of one home. So we will do multiplication here, because definitely one home will cost less and 382 homes will cost more. So number of homeless families are 382. Cost of each home is rupees 400,960, and we want to calculate the cost of 382 homes. For that you will do the multiplication. You can see the multiplication on next slide, but it would be better if you will first multiply it by yourself and then you will go to the next slide. So you can see the multiplication here. So your answer will be this one, but it is better that you will solve it by you first. Now coming towards our third question, school children in Karachi raised rupees 40,575 through a sponsored marathon race. If the collection is shared between 15 needy families, how much each family get and how much money will be left? So again, look at this. How much each family get? Means we want to calculate for one family. Each family means one family. And we know about the total calculated money. So it means that we want to divide this money between 15 families. So as I've told you, divide. So we will divide in this question. So you can see the amount raised by a marathon race, then the number of needy families, and we will do the division to find about each family, that is one family. Again, the solution is given to you on the next slide, but it would be better if you will solve it by yourself first. So we are having 0 as a remainder. It means that each family will get 2,705 rupees and 0 rupees are left over. Now the fourth question is Super Pop Potato Super Pop Potato Chips Factory employs 267 people. If each worker receives rupees 2,384 as wages every month, what is the total wages bill for a month and for the whole year? So you must know again here that we know about each worker. It is given to us that each worker receives rupees 2,384 per month, and there are 267 people. So if we know about one and we want to calculate about more, we have to do the multiplication here. So you can see the first part on your screens. We will do the multiplication here, and wages for the whole year will, when we want to calculate it for the whole year, you must know that in 1 year there are 12 months. So you will multiply the 1 month's salary of the all workers by 12. You can see the multiplication here, but it would be better that first solve it by yourself. Now question number 5 and question number 7 is your homework. If a rocket travels a distance of 756,480 kilometers in 240 hours, how many kilometers does it travel in 1 hour? So we want to calculate about 1 hour and we know about 240 hours. So if we want to calculate about 1 hour, it means that we will do the division here. Similarly, question number 7 is there. If a project needs rupees 955,000 to be completed, then how much money will be needed for 100 such projects? So we know about a project. A project means one project. We know about one project's cost and we want to calculate about 100 such projects. So we will use multiplication here. Hope you all will be able to solve these two questions by yourselves now. It was all about our today's lesson. Hope you all are safe at home and enjoying good health. May Allah keep you protected at your homes. Till our next class, Allah Hafiz. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I welcome you all in our today's maths class. Today we are going to learn about Unit 1, Exercise 1C, and it is our page number 16. Yesterday, I have told you about the word problems of multiplication and division, and it was still question number 4. Today we are going to discuss the other word problems of the same page as well. So let's start discussing. But before going to that, I want to share the important tips with you. There are some important tips that whenever you are solving a word problems, you must read the question very carefully and mark what is given to us. Then you will find the requirement, that what they want us to find. and after that you will apply the correct operation. So in this way you can solve the word problem. And now I'm going to give you some tips related to the word problems of division and multiplication specifically. So here are the tips that if we are given about one thing and we want to find about many things, we should do the multiplication. Again, when we want to find about one thing and we are given with a lots of things, so we will do the division here, because when we want to find about more things, we will multiply, means multiplication gives us a bigger answer. And if we want to calculate about one thing, we will do the division, because when we are doing the division, we are getting the small answers. And one more thing is there, if we want to find the number of things, we should do the division as well. So let's start doing our questions. Question number 5 is, if a rocket travels a distance of 756,480 kilometers in 240 hours, how many kilometers does it travel in 1 hour? So here you must know this, that we know about 756,480 kilometers travels in 240 hours, and we want to calculate about 1 hour. So whenever we want to calculate about 1 hour, we should do the division here. You can see the statements here, and now the division is also in front of you, but it would be better that if you will first divide it by yourself and then match your answer with it. Now coming towards our second question, if a project needs rupees 955,000 to be completed, then how much money will be needed for 100 such projects? Again, we know about a project, means one project. We know about one project and we want to find about 100 such projects. So we will do the multiplication, because we know about one and we want to find about 100 projects. So you will write it, money need to complete a project, then money need to complete 100 projects. So for that we will multiply the one project cost with 100. And again I will emphasize on this, that it will be better that if you will first solve it and then you will go to the next slide to check the answer. The next question is, during her trip, Sarah knits a scarf at the rate of 469 millimeters every day. If her trip lasts 8 days, how much of the scarf will she have knitted by the end of the trip? So again, you can see this, that 469 millimeters every day means she knits 469 millimeters every day, and her trip is for 8 days. So it means that we want to calculate that how much she will knit in 8 days. We know about her 1 day knitting and we want to calculate about her 8 days knitting. So again, we will do the multiplication here. Sarah knits a scarf every day. Then her trip lasts 8 days. So total scarf she knitted at the end of the scarf, you will multiply and you will get your answer as 3,752 millimeters. Now here question number 8 is, a park can accommodate 50,000 people. How many people can be accommodated in 10 such parks? Again, you must know this, that a park means one park. So in one park, the accommodation is 50,000. And we want to calculate that how many people can be accommodated in 10 such parks. So we want to find about 10 parks and we know about one park. So we have to do the multiplication again. People accommodate in one park, then people accommodate in 10 parks. So we will multiply the same 50,000 with 10. And here you can do this directly without doing it in vertical form because we know the multiplication by 10, 100 and 1000. When we are multiplying a number by 10, what will happen that we will multiply this 50,000 with 1 and you will get the same 50,000 and you will add a 0 with it. So your answer will be 500,000. So it means that in 10 parks, 500,000 people can be accommodated. Question number 9 is if rupees 294,850 are donated to a welfare trust in a month, then how will be deposited in 42 months? So here you can see that again that we know about 1 month. We know about 1 month that how much we can donate in a month. And we want to calculate about 42 months. So again, we will do the multiplication here. Money donated to a welfare trust in a month and then money deposited in 42 months will be definitely greater than that and we will multiply it and get the answer. You must do this multiplication and calculate your answer and it must be 12,383,700. You can see the multiplication here, but it would be better if you will solve it by yourself first. Question number 10 is a student pays rupees 123,000 annually to the school. How much does he pay monthly? Now here you can see that this is the annual, this rupees 1,023,000 is the annual fees of a student. Means he is paying this in 12 months. And we want to find that how much he pays monthly. We want to calculate about his 1 month fee. So annually means a year and in a year there are 12 months. So we want to find that how much he will pay to school in a month. That is we will divide this amount by 12 because in a year there are 12 months. So we will divide this amount by 12 and you will get your answer as rupees 10,250. So in this way, you can find it out that how much he or she will pay in a month. You can see the division here, but again, I will emphasize on this that first divide it by yourself and then check the answer that either you have done it correctly or not. So I hope that now all of you are able to solve the multiplication and division word problems. Here is your homework. It is question number 11. If a person has 25 shops, each worth rupees 655,000, then what is the total cost of these shops? So it means that we know about the cost of one shop. Each worth rupees 655,000 means this is the cost of one shop and total shops are 25. So it means that we want to calculate the total cost of 25 shops. So if we know about one thing and we want to find about many things, you know what you should do. So hope you will solve this question by yourself and I hope that all of you are safe and sound at your homes with your family and your parents. Hope you all are enjoying good health. So till our next class, goodbye and hope you all will do your homework. Thank you for watching this. Allah Hafiz. Unit 1, page number 21, and today we are going to discuss a very interesting topic that we are going to learn about the order of operation. Now what is this order of operation? Let's find it out. You must know that there are four basic operations in maths. Those are addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. And in your later classes you have read about all these four operations one by one. So today we are going to use all these operations at once. Here you can see, students, that in this question you are having subtraction, division, multiplication and addition. All the four operations are here. So how I'm going to solve this question? Now if four persons are there, or every person will solve this question in a different way, because maybe I will start doing the subtraction first, then the division, then multiplication and then addition. Maybe some person is there who wants first to do the division, then subtraction, then multiplication and then addition. So it is very confusing that how we can solve this question. You can find it out that in every way the answer will be different. So for this type of questions, when we are having more than one operation in one question, we are going to use a very interesting rule which is called Demas rule. So Demas rule tells us that if in a question there are more than one operations, how we are going to solve this question. Demas stands for D for division. First of all you will do the division, then M for multiplication, we will do the multiplication in second place, then the addition, and at the end we will do the subtraction. So now this is the rule. By using this rule, everywhere in the world if a question is there in which more than one operations are there, everyone will use this rule to solve that question. So you must know that, and it is not necessary that in question it will be given to you that you have to use the Demas rule in this question. No. If you will see more than two operations in one question, you are going to use this Demas rule. So let's practice some questions of Demas rule. It is question number 4 of exercise 1D. It is use Demas rule to solve. Its A part is 8 plus 4 minus 3. You can see here addition is there and subtraction is there. So Demas rule tells us that first we will do the addition and then we will do the subtraction. So first of all we are going to use the division. First of all we are going to use the addition here, 8 plus 4. And when you will add 8 plus 4, you will get 12. So we will write 12 minus 3. And now you will do 12 minus 3 and the answer will be 6. Similarly, let's practice some more questions. Here you can see this question. In this question, as you are looking at the question, you can see that here addition is there and division is there. So for this, Demas rule tells us first of all we will do the division. We will first of all start doing the division. So first of all we will divide 6 by 3 and the answer is 2. So we will write 30 plus 2. And now we will do the addition of 30 and 2. You will get 32 as your answer. Similarly, let's practice some questions. Here you can see simplify these using Demas rule. You can see the question here. In this question again you can find out that division is there and addition is there. So we will first of all do the division. And we will divide 108 by 12. Your answer will be 9 plus 46 will be there. Now we will add these two and get our final answer. Here is another question. In this question you can see that we are having addition and multiplication. So first of all we will use here first of all we will do multiplication according to Demas rule. Now 5 multiplied by 20 is 100. You will write 17 plus 100, and now we will add these two to get our answer, which is 117. So in similar way, you can do any question in which you are having more than one operations. Question number 6 is again simplify, and now it is not given to us that we are going to simplify the questions by using Demas rule or not, but it is understood that if division, addition and multiplication, three operations are there, we are going to simplify the question by using Demas rule. So first of all, we will do the division. We will divide 128 by 4. Your answer is 42. Plus 12 multiplied by 5 will be there on its own place. Now we will do the multiplication. 12 multiplied by 5 is 60. You will write 42 plus 60. And at the end you will add these two to get your answer as 86. So I hope that now all of you are able to solve the questions by using Demas rule. I have told you today that in Demas rule, we will first do the division, then multiplication, then addition and then subtraction. And we will use this rule when in a question there are more than one operation. So I hope that you all are now able to solve the question by using Demas rule. So this is your home task for today. You will do page 21, exercise 1D, question number 7, parts C and E, and question number 8, part B and C in your notebooks. And you can see that all the questions are related to the Demas rule. Here is the pattern how you will do your homework. Writing homework, date, day. Then on the very first line you will write the unit number, exercise number, and then you will write question number 8 and you will simplify the questions. So this is the pattern in which you can solve your questions. You will do your homework in this way. I hope that all of you will do your homework in a very neat and clean manner. So this was all about our today's lesson. Today I have told you about the Demas rule. In our next class, inshallah, we will discuss about use of brackets. Till the next class, I hope you all will take care of yourselves. Till our next class, goodbye and Allah Hafiz. It is our unit 1 and today we will do exercise 1D. And here we are going to discuss about the order of operation. In our previous class, I have told you that how we can solve a question in which we are having more than one operation. As you can see here that division is there, addition is there, multiplication is there. So we will use Demas rule here. First of all, you will do the division. We will get 11 and the rest of the question will be in a similar way. Then we will do the multiplication and then at the end we will do the addition. So this was our Demas rule. Today we are going to learn something different from it, and that is simplification by using brackets. If brackets are there, then how we are going to solve a question? How we can do the simplification if brackets are there? Brackets helps us to solve problems involving two or more operations by telling us which part to do first, by grouping some numbers together. Brackets are also called grouping symbols. So you must know this, that sometimes in a question we want to solve a part of question first. We don't want to apply the Demas rule there. Instead we want to solve that question according to our own order. So in that case, we are going to use the brackets now. There are three types of brackets: parenthesis brackets or the round brackets, curly brackets, and the square or box brackets. And you must know this, that if we are having a question in which all these three brackets are there, we will first solve the round brackets, then the curly brackets, and at the end we will solve the square brackets. So this is the order of solving the brackets. Now in question number 9 of exercise 1D, the question is copy and complete these. You can see that here we are using the round brackets. So for solving this, we will first solve the numbers which are inside the brackets, and inside the brackets we are having 3 multiplied by 7. Now here we are not going to look at the Demas rule, although there are two operations in this question, but brackets are also there. So we will solve first the numbers which are inside the brackets, and 7 threes is 21. You will get 21 plus 12, and then add it and you will get your answer. Its B part is 9 plus 22, and it is within the round bracket, multiply by 4. So if we will solve this question according to Demas rule, first we should do the multiplication, but we will not do that. We will first solve the numbers which are inside the brackets. And inside the brackets we are having 9 plus 22. So we will add these two numbers. We will get 31, and now we will multiply the answer with 4, and the answer is 124. Similarly, in this part C, you can see 8 multiplied by 12 plus 16, and 12 plus 16 are inside the brackets. You must know this, that inside the brackets we are always having group of numbers, and that's why the brackets are also known as grouping symbols. So first we will solve the numbers inside the brackets. 8 multiplied by 28 will be the answer, and then we will multiply it to get the answer. So today, students, I have told you about the solving of question in which the brackets are there. So you must know this, that if brackets will be there, we will first solve that part of a question, and then we will solve the rest of the question. I hope that all of you are now able to solve the questions related to the brackets. So for now, please note down your home task. Your home task is, you will do page 21, exercise 1D, question number 10, parts C and D in your notebooks. Here you can see the questions. Simplify these. You will solve the part C and part D by using the brackets rule. And now this is the pattern by which you can solve your homework. You must keep this pattern in your minds, and you should follow this pattern to solve the questions. I hope you all have enjoyed today's lesson and you have learned something new from today's lesson. Till our next class, I hope that you all will take care of yourselves. Please stay home so that you can stay safe. And till our next class, in our next class, inshallah, we will start our next chapter, next unit, that is about LCM and HCF. So till then, I hope you all will take care of yourself. Till then, goodbye and Allah Hafiz.